Hey guys, you're here. I've been working with a lot of asset packs lately, and I've noticed that there's an issue that keeps on happening when I append objects from a certain Kitbash pack that share the same material, which causes like duplicates to happen with adding like an extra suffix with like a number behind it. And this causes the scene to eventually become very slow because you've got all these like extra materials that are basically the same material, but because they aren't necessarily copies anymore of the same material, they'll have the extra like performance needed, which will cause your whole scene to slow down. And this is really annoying to deal with, but I made this add-on for that where you can basically copy a prefix like I'm doing here. You can copy the prefix of this material, and then you can select the material that you want it to be replaced by. And then what it does is it goes through all the objects in the scene and looks for this prefix in every material that it has. And if it finds any, then it will select the object and replace that specific material with that prefix with the material that you choose it to change it with. So if I do this, select and replace by material prefix, it selects, as you can see, all the objects that had this prefix in one of their materials. And as you can see, if I go in here, all these extra copies now have this 0 in front of them, which means that there's no object that has this material anymore. And now we can just go to cleanup, purge unused data, and delete. And as you can see, we got rid of all those extra copies of materials. We can also use this add-on to just select objects with a certain material prefix. So if I just turn this off and I want to see every object that has this texture on it, I select the texture name, paste it in here, just deselect everything and select the objects, and we can see all the objects, which in this case is nearly everything that has this material added to it. This allows us for faster edits, just general sense of like seeing which objects are sharing the same material. And I also added an extra option that I use very often in bigger scale environments, and that is to clean up displacement textures. As many of you might know, you don't really necessarily need displacement textures on assets that are just quite far away or just not very close to the camera to begin with. So I also added this remove displacement nodes, which you can do by just selecting an object that you want to get rid of all the displacement textures. And as you can see here, it has this displacement texture on the gold material, and it has, I think, displacement, yeah, on every texture besides the emission, so that one we don't really care about. But as you can see, as soon as I select it and then hit remove displacement nodes, it goes, as you can see, through all the textures and deletes all the displacement textures and nodes. This will save a lot of performance in your scene. And now we can just go to cleanup, purge unused data, and it'll get rid of all the displacement textures that you just deleted and that are not really bound to any materials now. The only thing that you have to be careful with this option is that if you do want to keep the displacement textures on something that is sharing the same materials with other objects, then you might want to create like a copy of that texture that you do want to keep, because as you might have noticed, it deleted the textures from all the objects because obviously they're all sharing the same material right now. So yeah, just be careful with that. Make a copy of the materials that have the displacement textures in them that you want to keep before you remove the displacement nodes. All right, hope this is useful to anyone. If you guys want it, I've got it on my Gumroad. I'll put it up there for free and hope you guys will enjoy it. All right, see you.